Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is MahfuzVanGogh, your dredge guy, and I'm here today to show you something really special to me because this is my first time here in this channel playing a budget list. Yeah, when I started to play Legacy, I did not have the budget to buy LEDs or dual lands, so I started playing Legacy with budget decks, like LEDless Dredge without LEDs, but changing LEDs for some of the cards. And now that I have created probably the most expensive dredge deck ever in Legacy, you can see here, my Turbo Dredge can be built with just a little bit more than $5,000 if you don't have any of the cards, because you have 4 dual lands and 4 LEDs, and those are expensive cards. But if you don't have them and do just a little bit of some adjustments, you can have almost the same thing for only 300 bucks. And I think this can be a really good experiment here in this channel, because since I started to play Legacy with budget lists, maybe you can do the same. If you are still not playing Legacy, Legacy is great, and I'm here to encourage you to try the format if you don't have the cards yet. So this is the deck that I'm going to play today. Instead of 4 LEDs, we have 2 Lotus Petals just to push our deck's speed a little bit more sometimes. Instead of dual lands, we have just other dual lands, the shock lands that usually see play in Modern. We have 3 Steam Vents and 1 Watery Grave. And we have our extra Dredger and extra Golgari Thug. We have now 12 Dredgers instead of 11. And this is something that will help the deck to be even more consistent. And we have a single breakthrough to push our deck to be even faster when you have it. I don't like to have more than 1 breakthrough here, because usually we want to reach the turn 2 having at least 2 lands or 2 mana sources, so we can easily cast flashback spells like Otherworldly Gaze to brought back Poxwalkers from the graveyard and so on. So yeah, those are the changes. The rest is the same. We have the same sideboard that I played here for the first time, for my last time. We have a Shan Rider, a Line of Sanctity, a Line of the Void, 1 extra Ichorid to help the deck to fight against another fair decks, control decks in the format, and many bounce spells as well. And Duskana, the Rage Mother, is the glue that helps the deck to always find anger. And if you have a single mountain, you can usually win the game on the same turn. So that's it. Let's see if we can win some games of Magic with a budget list. I will show you again, just to be clear, this is a budget list. In Magic Online, there is a smaller difference between the budget list and the almost, like I said, the turbo list that I built before. This is a difference of about $70. But in paper, this can be really different. This is almost $5,000 of difference. So yeah, let's see. And if budget is not your concern, you can maybe have some good content here. Let's see if intentionally budget list can be successful in Magic Online. So let's do it. Let's go. Oh, and one more thing before we start. If you like this initiative of having budget decks here in this channel, playing Legacy Leagues, trying to reach success in Magic Online with budget decks, please click the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment, because maybe I can do it again in the future. I have other budget decks to play, not only this one. But now I'm really curious to see what will happen with this deck in this league. So let's go. So this is round 1, and we are on the play. Always good to be on the play in Magic Online, especially when we have so many different combo decks running around. And this is not good because we cannot cast our spell. If this was a Careful Study, I would keep this. So let's mulligan. Okay, this is not the best hand, but we have a Faithless Looting and we have a Careful Study. I can put back 1 Arcomoeba. I guess we can keep it. This is not the best hand, but considering we are on the play, I think I can keep this. Yeah. And since this is a budget list, I don't have the expectations of drawing an LED. I know that we want a second land with this hand, and unfortunately we have a dead Nakomoeba here. We cannot play it, probably. But I think this is still a keep. My opponent kept 7. I have 2 neighbors, and if my opponent has something like Force of Will, we can try again next turn. This cannot be a basic land. This needs to be in Steam Vents. Let's confuse my opponent, because maybe they see Steam Vents and think this is a completely different deck. And I start with Faithless Looting here because I have more blue. Okay, my opponent just clicked F6 here. I will discard Garglyph Troll and Ox. Since I can cast Careful Study with any other land of my deck, but I can't. I can only cast Faithless Looting with mountains. I prioritize casting Faithless Looting first in this position. So we dredge 6 here. We have 2 Narcomoebas, great, and we already have a 1 Cabal Therapy. And now I will cast Faithless Looting again. We will dredge 6 and dredge 5. Okay, still only 1 Cabal Therapy. No other cards yet. No Dredge Return, and no Poxwalkers. So this Cabal Therapy needs to be good for us. We'll have 2 bridges, so 2 zombies, and this can be so many things. It can be so many things. I'll probably just name something like Force of Will here. I think my opponent is playing with the Show and Tell build, but I'll start with Force of Will. No, and they have 2 Show and Tells, and they can play a Show and Tell next turn, probably for Emrakul. So let's pass the turn. City of Traitors. Oh, they will not go for it. Oh yeah, they can't cast a Show and Tell because they don't have a blue mana, of course. So maybe they have some Graveyard Hate main deck. Let's dredge 6. Okay, now we have 1 Poxwalkers. Come on, looting. It's already turn 3. Come on. We'll dredge 12 this turn. Okay, we found another Poxwalkers. We need to find another Cabal Therapy and maybe Dredge Return. Okay, we found both and Angers, so maybe you have the win. Let's see, I will discard both Dredgers. I can cast... I think I'll cast Cabal Therapy first, and then I'll have both Poxwalkers back and 4 zombies with haste. I'll name Show and Tell because it is a blue card for Force of Will in case my opponent have Force of Will right now. So let's start Show and Tell, which is guaranteed. Yeah, and they have 2 transmute artifacts, but no counter spells. So let's go. Okay, Dredge Return for Ox of Agonas. I will sacrifice 3 creatures. So I have 12 more zombies, all of them with haste. And my opponent concedes. So yeah, we start with bang. And so far, Steam Vents, legitimately a good substitution to Volcanic Island in this build. Because, well, usually we can win pretty fast. So usually having those lands instead of dual lands, having shocklands will not be so bad. So those decks lately are using a Leyline of the Void, so I'll try 5 bounce spells. And I probably don't want to take all of my Dredge Return package here. I'll take 1 Duskana and 1 Dredge Return. But I think I want to keep other cards. I want to be fast. I'll take 2 Otherworldly Gazes at least. And I can probably take 1 of my Dredgers. And I'm on the draw now. Ashen Rider can be a good card, especially if my opponent go to this road. This is a blue deck. They probably have Force of Will, not only Leyline. So maybe I think I prefer Ashen Rider Dredge as a Dredge Return plan on the play. On the draw, usually we are 1 turn too slow to find all of our pieces. So yeah, let's sideboard this way. Only bounce spells, changing just a few pieces. Okay, this hand is a mulligan. My opponent kept 7. So maybe they have a fast hand, or they have Graveyard Hate. This is also a mulligan. This is our best hand. Not perfect. We need other things, but maybe this Otherworldly Gaze will help us to find them. I'll put Narcomoeba and probably Poxwalkers instead of Stinkweed Imp. Unfortunately, yeah. My opponent has no Leyline, Ancient Tomb, Green Monolith. Okay, Careful Study is good. Let's start with this. Trying to find a land. Not a land, but a breakthrough. And my opponent did not counter my spell. Maybe they have another Graveyard Hate and not Leyline. So now they have the One Ring, okay, and draws a card. And because of the One Ring, I don't have the win next turn. Even if I have an amazing hand, I will not have the win. So since I will not have the win, I will try to hit my second land here, maybe a mountain, before going forward. Okay, a Lotus Petal is also good, but I would prefer a mountain here. I think I will keep Lotus Petal. Maybe I keep Lotus Petal and then cast Breakthrough, even if I cannot win this turn. My opponent can combo off next turn, but I think I have no choice. I would just try to go deep into my own deck. Let's see if my opponent can counter this. No. So Dredge 6, and Dredge 5, and Dredge 6 again. And I've discarded my whole hand. We have no mountains, so we have no turbo kill, even if my opponent didn't have the One Ring. And I can't do anything else because we also don't have Cabal Therapy. So yeah, our deck kind of betrayed us here. With a single Cabal Therapy, we could probably mill our entire deck to win next turn. I just press F6 here. My opponent draws 2 extra cards, plays an island, and casts a second the One Ring. Okay, so no combo yet, but they are fogging this game really good. So we dredge 6. Okay, now we found the Cabal Therapy. I will cast Cabal Therapy. I cannot target my opponent, so I will target myself, sacrificing a Amoeba. And then I have my Poxwalkers back and 3 zombies. Okay, Grave Troll, why not? I don't need to discard anything here, but why not? And then I'll just try to cast Dredge Return to reanimate Ox of Aganas. And now I will dredge 3 times. I'll dredge 6 first. Okay, I found Anger. And do I need anything else? I already have 1 Cabal Therapy, Anger. Do I have a mountain in my deck? 1 Steam Vents, 2 Steam Vents, basic mountain. I still have 1 Steam Vent somewhere. So I can draw a mountain here with some luck. I don't know if I need to draw anything else. Maybe an Amoeba would be good. I still have 2 Amoebas, so let's dredge 6 again. Okay, 1 Amoeba and this Steam Vent, so we don't have but the mountains. I can just draw here. Yes, I would like to use Amoeba's ability, and then I'll just have more zombies or not. Because if my opponent chain 2 more the One Rings here, we will probably not win. So I don't need to save this Cabal Therapy for the future. Let's just make an army try to win next turn. But I'm not confident. My opponent drew lots of cards this game. So I'll pass the turn here. I'll just click F6 here. I have no other plays available to me. My opponent suffers some damage here. The One Ring deals 2 damage, but they can now draw 3 more cards. Urza Saga will tutor an artifact, probably a key to untap the One Ring. It's getting dark here, so I'm gonna put some light on. As expected, my opponent tutors a Manifold Key. Now they will copy the One Ring, so I cannot attack anymore. And their plan will be just copying the One Ring 1 turn after another. It's hard, but I need them to just fail here. I'm not sure if this is possible to fail at this point, because my opponent is drawing many extra cards. But yeah, we have no choice here. I'll have a natural draw. Okay, Scouting turn, but this doesn't represent the land. I will attack with my Poxwalkers. Send in a message. My opponent now is already on 8 life. The saga goes to 2 counters. My opponent draws 4 more cards, plays an island, another green monolith. Do they have another transmit artifact or copy artifact or Phyrexian Metamorph? Another the One Ring. It also works. Lotus Petal. And that's it. We draw just another land. And this time I will attack just with Ox of Aganas. No damage? Not at all? My opponent chose last turn to not draw extra cards with the One Ring. Now this Urza Saga will be probably an extra key. So my opponent can draw, oh no, just a Mox Opal, okay. So maybe they already have what they are looking for. Draw 1 card. This is already the 3rd, the One Ring. And another Transmute artifact. Paradox Engine, okay, so my opponent probably can draw the entire deck now. My opponent casts Copy Artifact, draw 2 extra cards. So let's just cut here to the point of my opponent will combo off. Okay, after some minutes, my opponent casts an Emrakul. I have one flyer, not more than that. My opponent copies an Emrakul, so now I don't have any other bridges. My bridges were exiled. Now my opponent casts their last the One Ring and another Emrakul. Okay, my opponent attacks me with Emrakul with Annihilator 6. I'll just sacrifice 6 permanents. This, this, and that. And I block Emrakul with Narcomoeba. My opponent draws a card with the One Ring. And my opponent's plan here is probably just casting Emrakuls one after another with extra turns to finally hit me twice in the air. Okay, I can concede here. So this is the way this deck worked. Just chaining the One Ring and fog effects. Until some moment you can just draw your entire deck and cast Emrakul and another Emrakul or copying Emrakul with the One Ring activations, so that you never mill yourself. I could mill my opponent. I could have milled my opponent if I had a land to activate Cephalic Coliseum, but I didn't. So I think on the play I will keep more or less the same. I'm not sure if my opponent will mulligan aggressively to find the Leyline of the Void, but I think they probably have them. I should probably include Dredge Return and Ashen Rider here. And since I'm expecting a Leyline, I can take one Breakthrough and another Otherworldly Gaze. Let's try this way, this configuration. So this is game 3. This can be good if my opponent don't have a Leyline of the Void. They do, this is awful. I think I should keep it and put the pressure on my opponent to find a Leyline or a fast hand. Okay, my opponent have no Leyline and kept 7 as well. So let's start with Careful Study. We'll discard Stinkweed Imp and Poxwalkers and pass the turn. Ancient Tomb for my opponent and Green Monolith. This is the same start than before, but now they also have a Mox Opal. We dredge 5. We found an Narcomoeba, but no other dredgers, so we will start with Careful Study this turn. Okay, and I found a Lotus Petal. I'll discard Stinkweed Imp and Poxwalkers. I play Lotus Petal, I play Cephalic Coliseum, and I crack it. And now I will dredge 5, 5, and 6. Unfortunately, no mountains, so we don't have a turbo plan. But we'll need to wait one more turn because we also don't have Cabal Therapies. Our deck is betraying us. Usually we find at least one Cabal Therapy on the top half of our deck. So I'll discard, we already have a Dredge Return, so I'll discard Ox, Breach, and Grave Troll. And pass the turn here. And since my opponent just comboed off last game after many turns, after casting many Emrakuls, I'm kind of, if they play the One Ring here, I'll just have a natural draw, intending to find the Cephalic Coliseum. Okay, my opponent is casting Jewel. Now they can draw extra cards or make more mana. So this is a copy of this card. My opponent will have a third Jewel. Okay, now they have the One Ring, and they will copy another. Yeah, my opponent will probably draw the entire deck here. And my opponent casts Emrakul. Unfortunately, this was too fast for our deck. We can concede here. GG's. If you enjoy my content, I will encourage you to go check my Patreon. This way you can help me as a content creator, but also have access to all my articles, sideboard guides, new videos, and also everything that I discover about Dredge. When I build a new deck like this one, you'll have access first. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all my patrons that you can see here on this page. Now, back to the games. Okay, so this is our second round. This hand is a mulligan. This is almost good. With a single land, this could be good, but it is a mulligan. Okay, this is our best hand so far. I will keep it, putting Narcomoeba back, and probably a Cabal Therapy, so we have 2 neighbors and 2 dredgers. My opponent starts this time with Urza Saga, an expedition map, so maybe this is just lands. If this is lands, I should probably start with Cephalic Coliseum, so I can have ways to rebuild my graveyard if they just go for a Budget Bog on turn 2. My opponent plays a Thespian Stage, an Epiphany Needle, probably naming Cephalic Coliseum, but no Budget Bog, so we have this turn to find what we need, because next turn they will probably get Bojuka if they feel they need to. I'll go for a basic mountain since we cannot crack Cephalic Coliseum. And I'll cast Faithless Looting. We dredge 6 and dredge 6 again. I'll discard both dredgers. We have Dredge Return. We don't have Anger yet. If I cast Dredge Return, I will put 2 Poxwalkers back. I also can do the same with only a Cabal Therapy. I can force here my opponent to just go for a Tabernacle instead of going for the combo or Bojuka if I have the kill next turn. So I'll try to do this. Because if I do this way, I will probably have little next turn. So 6, 9, 12, 19. I can repeat this to put an extra Gargrave Troll in play. Yeah. Sacrificing Poxwalkers, and Zombie Token. Let's see if now I have lethal here. My opponent, yeah. If my opponent don't do anything else, I have lethal here. I will even cast Cabal Therapy targeting my opponent, sacrificing the Poxwalkers. I can name maybe Crop Rotation here. Yeah, they have Tabernacle in their hand. But I hit Crop Rotation blindly. And now I'll pass the turn. My opponent will just play Tabernacle. My opponent taps Urza Saga for mana. My opponent needs to block or deal with 2 Grave Trolls to survive next turn. So they probably will just play Tabernacle, is the easiest way to not die next turn. And then I can attack them for 7, maybe 13. Okay, my opponent has Mox Diamond and plays Tabernacle and Sphere of Resistance. Okay, I'm not intending to cast any other spells game. So I'll tap my lands for mana. And now I'll pay Tabernacle stacks just to keep my Grave Trolls in the battlefield. The other cards can wait. The zombie can die. Grave Troll will be saved. These Poxwalkers can die. MTGO has this bug for several months now that you need to pay to click twice in the no box when you don't want to save a creature for Tabernacle. I clicked 1 and the second time, and 1 and 2 again. Now I dredge 6 here, and I have an Anger, so 13, 17 damage. I cannot do anything here besides that, so I'll deal 17 damage to my opponent. And now they need to do something, because I have 3 mana to pay for my creatures here. Yeah, they don't have it. And we won first game against Lands. This is huge, because Lands is a tough matchup for Dredge. Not only for turbo builds, but traditional rainbow builds, and even for blue Dredge. Lands is tough. So, we probably want Ashen Rider here, in case my opponent has an Tabernacle with Testament Stage, or Ashen Rider can be useful even to exile a Maze of Ith. And I probably will take an Otherworldly Gaze from the deck. I will put 4 Leyline of Sanctities. I can take 1 Careful Study, 1 Lotus Petal. We don't want to rush things here. We want to be consistent. I can keep 1 Petal maybe. But since I need to remove some other cards, I'll take the Duskana and the Petal. Yeah, I think this is probably good enough. On the draw, having Lotus Petal will not push us into a good position, usually, because if my opponent just holds a Crop Rotation in their hand, I cannot go a full combo. So my opponent kept 7. This hand is resilient. I can go for I can fetch Scouting Turn for a basic mountain, and even if my opponent exile my graveyard, I can rebuild my graveyard later, so I'll keep it. I would prefer to have a Leyline of Sanctity, of course, but I think this hand is a keep. Not the perfect keep, but a keep. My opponent starts with Mox Diamond, discarding Thespian Stage. Play with Maya and pass. Okay, Steam Vents is not that bad. I'll fetch Scouting Turn for a basic mountain before we mill our basic mountain. And I cast Faithless Looting. Would be amazing to draw other Dredgers or even Ox for the future. So Stinkwood Imp and Cabal Therapy go to the graveyard. And we pass the turn. My opponent will not fire their Crop Rotation yet. Maze of Ith, pass the turn. My opponent kept 7, so of course they have something, right? Let's dredge here. I would like to force my opponent to use Crop Rotation soon. So I'm not sure if I want to do something to rush things here. So I'll probably play this same events tapped and pass a turn. Opponent to do nothing. Probably holding crop rotation for the right moment. They'll crack Wasteland, no problem. Now we'll dredge 6. Maybe revealing an Narcomoeba, no? But we already have a Cabal Therapy here, so I'll force my opponent. Now that I have Cabal Therapy in 2 bridges, maybe they do something. I need to force them to do something. Okay, my opponent has Surgical Extraction. Now they will see my hand, and they know what I'm trying to do here. But I still have this Cabal Therapy to force them to use crop rotation. Unless they have a second Surgical Extraction. No? Okay, so Cabal Therapy targeting you. Endurance. Okay, Endurance is not that bad. I will still name crop rotation. Crop rotation, but they probably don't have crop rotation here. Yeah, just two lands. A second Maze of Ith is annoying. I can just press F6 here, my opponent knows my hand. Okay, so everything is clear here. I know what my opponent have, they know what I have. With resulting, let's rebuild this. Okay, I'll put this and this. I wish I have another Oxophagonus, another mountain to maybe cast Oxophagonus later, but this is a race. I need to win the race. Probably finding Ashen Rider and not trying to find my other land. Okay, Dredge Return, Anger. We have 1 Poxwalkers only. Okay, so I discard my whole hand. And next turn we can cast Otherworldly Gaze with Flashback. There's no point of casting Cabal Therapy here just to brought back a single Poxwalkers. If I had 2, this could be good because I could cast a Dredge Return. But now I don't think I need to do anything here. I will just attack my opponent for 2 because now we already have Anger. Angry Birds, no, Angry Illusions, Angry Narcomoebas. Let's force them to use Maze of Ith. I can just press F6 here and hope for not a good top deck from my opponent. My opponent will attack with Endurance. I will not block. I need those creatures to cast Dredge Return soon. I could find here my second Poxwalkers. Maybe. No, but my third Narcomoeba. It also works. Now I'll cast Otherworldly Gaze. Okay, Ashen Rider, and I already have a Dredge Return here. I have 2 Dredge Returns, so I'll mill everything. And I'll cast Dredge Return. I have Cabal Therapy. I have 3 therapies, so I'll cast Dredge Return, targeting Ashen Rider, sacrificing 1, 2, 3 creatures. Poxwalkers comes back, and I will blow 1 Maze of Ith. Now what? My opponent can just tap this Ashen Rider again. Oh, my opponent concedes, okay, because I saw that I can do the same thing. But I think this is an early concession. This wasn't over here. I would not have the opportunity to do the same this turn. Of course, I could just Dredge Return casting Oxophagonus here, reanimating Oxophagonus, but I think this was an early concession. But okay, GG's. We won 2-0. This is huge, considering that this is a Budget Turbo Dredge. Okay, so this is our next match, and this hand is a mulligan. This hand is a keep. I can keep this, put Narcomoeba back, and my opponent starts the game, playing Mystery Forest, cracking it for a basic forest. Oh, is this Enchantress? Or a control build? My opponent passed the turn, and I draw. Many good draws here. Yeah, this is one of them. This basic here almost makes me feel worried about my not basic lands, so maybe this is not indicative of anything dangerous and I'm just overthinking, but I inclined to go after a blue source here, basic island I mean. So basic island and careful study. Okay, breakthrough is good. We will discard just Golgari Thug and Poxwalkers, and we pass the turn. My opponent draws. Play a basic island, snow covered island, another abundant growth, another hydro, and another one. Okay, so my opponent just casting enchantments to have their, but this is not an Eorion deck, but so I'm not sure about anything. Okay, we have 7 cards. We have just 1 Stinkwood Imp. I'll start with Otherworldly Gaze here. Let's see if this resolves. It will resolve. I will mill
Do I mill Cephalic Coliseum? Because if my opponent just counter my breakthrough, this is a good thing to do next turn. So I'll mill Breach and Careful Study, but I will keep Cephalic Coliseum, and now I'll play Steam Vents and cast Breakthrough. This is a juicy target for a Force of Will. No? Okay, Dredge 5, Dredge 4, Dredge 6, and Dredge 6 again. We can card our entire hand, and we have one Arcomoeba. Please don't have an Endurance. Okay. So I'll cast Cabal Therapy targeting my opponent. I will have my Poxwalkers back. I don't have a Dredge return yet, but I already have Anger. So this is... I will probably name Uro. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. Okay, this is an Enchantress build, and they had Force of Will, but opted to not use it. I will cast my second Cabal Therapy, and now they will use it, selling Astrid's Invocation, so now they will just play Solitary Confinement. Unfortunately, we don't have the win yet, so I will attack my opponent for 8. Let's see for how many turns they will hold with Confinement. I press F6 here. They play Misty, crack it, and play Confinement. So in case you don't know this card, they must sacrifice it at the beginning of their upkeep unless they discard a card. So far they have 3 cards in hand, and they have Shroud and prevent all damage that would be dealt to them, but they don't draw cards. So let's see what they can do about this. I will dredge 6 here. Okay, now I have 2 dredge returns. I will just cast an Otherworldly Gaze first, and I will keep my mountain here, my basic mountain, on top. So you see, I can cast Cabal Therapy targeting them because of Shroud. I don't think I need to do it to do this. I don't even need to cast Red Return targeting Duskana here. I will just pass the turn. They need to discard a card. They have a Misty, a Leyline Binding, and other cards that I don't know. Okay, Brainstorm. And my opponent concedes because probably don't find anything good with this Brainstorm, and will not hold this Solitary Confinement for too long. So I'm not sure if my opponent probably have something like Rest in Peace and enchantments, so enchantment removal seems wise. I can also bring Ashen Rider if I feel I need to remove permanent like Confinement. But this is already 6 cards. My opponent also can have a Line of the Void. Some Enchantress builds sometimes play with them. Rare, but sometimes. But I also want to be fast. I will change the Duskana for Ashen Rider here, and I will take 1 Otherworldly Gaze, 1 Careful Study. I probably keep 1 Lotus Petal, but I will take 1 of them. And maybe I can take Ox and Dredge Return. And I'll keep 1 Dredge Return and 1 Ashen Rider, especially because I don't know what will be my opponent's Graveyard Hate. I think I played against a build like that maybe 2 years ago, and I play with some frequency. I play regularly, so this is not usual, at least in Magic Online or in my local game store. So I'll keep this hand. We have Dredgers and Spells. My opponent starts the game playing Misty Rainforest and pass the turn. We'll start with Invent. I would like to pay 2 life, yes, and Faithless Looting. Opponent will counter it. Oak Island. Yeah, Fluster, okay. No looting for me this turn. My opponent plays Forest and Carpet of Flowers, so they have more mana. Up the Beanstalk. Okay, so this is not exactly Enchantress. This is some enchantment prison control deck of some kind. I will play Cephalic Coliseum and cast Careful Study with it, because I could just draw a Faithless Looting. So I discard 2 Dredgers and pass. My opponent will have 1 extra mana here because of Carpet. Plays Tundra. Is this a 4-color? Or maybe 5-color control? 4th Eorlingas, you got it. It would be hilarious now to just reveal Anger and cast Narcomoeba from my hand. Of course I will not do this play because I will crack Cephalic Coliseum, but having the Monarchy is not... Yeah, Anger and Narcomoeba, that's amazing. Will I attack first? Probably not. I have 2 Dredgers, yeah, let's just crack Cephalic Coliseum, because I can have the win here if I reveal some good cards. Okay, I will discard. I have one Poxwalkers, one bridge, only one bridge. Cabal, and another Cabal, another bridge. So bridge, Cabal Therapy, and Golgari Withdraw. And I'll cast Cabal Therapy targeting my opponent, sacrificing Amoeba. Oh, two bridges, of course. But no Dredge return yet. I'll probably name something like Leyline Binding here, because it draws a card for my opponent. No, just another 4 Eorlingas. Alright, let's take it. 4 Eorlingas. Fourth Eorlingas. And now we can even take this Force of Negation, just to have more zombies. Force of Negation. Now my opponent has only 2 lands, and we will be lucking. So my opponent has only 2 fetch lands. And let's attack. And it is interesting because since we will be the Monarch, we'll just draw an extra card at the end of the turn, and this draw can be just a dredge. I will attack with 1, 2, 3. In case my opponent top decks another Eorlingas, it would be 2 extra tokens. So let's attack with only 2, because we will have little next turn probably. I don't need to rush things here and maybe lose with the good sequence from my opponent. Okay, now I have another bridge and even dredge return. Impressive 6 here. My opponent cannot take the Monarch back, and they need a counterspell, because if they don't have, I will just win the game with Ashen Rider. Its Invocation to draw an extra card with up the Beanstalk. Okay, this is interesting. My opponent can copy enchantments to control the build, to draw extra cards. Yeah, my opponent concedes. GG's. So we are 2-1 with a budget deck in Legacy. Let's go to our 4th match. So this is our 4th match of this evening, and this is a mulligan. I could, of course, just cast Cabal Therapy with my Lotus Petal, targeting myself, and then next turn crack Cephalic Coliseum. But this plan is so weird if my opponent has Wasteland, or if they counter my Cabal Therapy. Do I try this? Do I try this? Because having 2 Cephalic Coliseums is one of the best things our deck can do. We have 2 of our best dredgers. Okay, for the science. Maybe this is a bad choice. Let's see what my opponent is playing. Mountain and pass. Can be so many things. Invents. This is one of our best draws here. Because now, do I expose my Steam Vents? Maybe this is not a Wasteland deck. This can be a Prison deck or a Painter deck. Another option here would be just pass the turn to discard a single Golgari Withdraw. But let's see if this Lotus Petal will resolve first. And I cast my Cabal Therapy targeting myself. Resolves, so Grave Troll. I'll have this opportunity to play my Steam Vents Sept and pass the turn. My opponent draws a card, plays Urza Saga. Okay, so I need to be fast. This is probably Painter. Yeah, Painter. Goblin Engineer. My opponent will put Graveyard Hate probably. Soulguide Lantern. Oh no, they will go for the combo kill. Okay, so I need blockers. Amoeba? Not yet. Let's crack this first Cephalic Coliseum. Maybe they have Agatha Soul's Cauldron in their hand. 1 Amoeba, it could be much better. And Lotus Petal for next turn. So let's discard 1, 2, 3 cards. Not sure if I reveal this Lotus Petal. I think I don't. Let's see what my opponent have. This choice of having Phyrexian Devourer is only good if my opponent have Agatha Soul's Cauldron. So I think this will be my choice here. Or maybe they have another Engineer next turn. I have a second Cabal Therapy. If they had a Cauldron, it will make more sense casting Cauldron first, since I'm a Graveyard deck. Okay, I have another one. So Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Yeah, I was right. My opponent was trying to kill me on turn 3. And now, with my other Cabal Therapy, what I will name here. Next turn, my opponent will have Goblin Welder, Lightning Bolt, or Fable available. Which one is worse for me? Lightning Bolt is not so bad for me. I think Goblin Welder is the worst card here, because I can have the win next turn, and I don't want my opponent to have Welder plus Engineer. Fable is weird because next turn it is not so bad, but then drawing discarding cards, it can be bad. I think I will name Goblin Welder here, because my opponent could just cast Goblin Welder and have token with Urza Saga, and now they cannot do both. They can only trade a token and have a lightning bolt available. Yeah, this is better. So Goblin Water, and I have no other choice here. I will pass the turn. My opponent draw a card, puts the second counter on Urza Saga, plays Ancient Tomb. Oh, they found Painter Servant. Alright, so everything is blue. They can put Agatha's Soul Cauldron at instant speed if they want to. We will only dredge 6. A2 extra Narcos is good. Duskana is good. I will place a Fad Coliseum and crack it immediately. I can dredge 6, dredge 5, dredge 4. We have Anger, and Ox, and Dredge Return. So I'll discard those 3 cards. Another Narcomoeba. My opponent can put Agatha's Soul Cauldron and then exile my target here at instant speed. And also exiling my bridges. So I'll start only casting Cabal Therapy here. Sacrificing probably a Poxwalkers. Yeah. Let's see what my opponent will choose. So instead of trying to reanimate one of my creatures, this plan would not work because my opponent can exile that creature at instant speed with Soul Cauldron. My opponent opted to not do anything here. And am I wrong? Why my opponent is not doing anything here? Okay, I'll just name Fable here. Now they will do something. Oh, now they will lightning bolt their Goblin Engineer. So my opponent had the wrong timing to do this. They should do this before, if this was their plan. So my opponent will try to kill me with Painter Servants next turn. So I want to try to kill them before that. So Fable of the Mirror Breaker. My opponent still don't know what the Duskana can do. So the Duskana, I choose you. Sacrificing Poxwalkers, Narcomoeba. Will I have too many zombies? 1, 2, 3. No, I don't have any other bridges, so I can do this. Or I will draw 7 cards, yeah. Poxwalkers comes back. Poxwalkers is an amazing card. Did I tell you this before? So I will draw 7 cards. I can dredge 6 here. 1 extra dredge return, okay, and I will just draw. Okay, my opponent concedes. They probably read what this kind can do. We won our first game against Painter. This is huge because Painter is not an easy matchup for Dredge. Yeah, Budget Dredge time. So against Painter, this build, almost every time that I saw this build, my opponent had also ley lines after sideboarding. But my Painter opponents with this build usually don't mulligan aggressively to find ley line if they have a good and fast hand with the combo, for example. So I will side against ley line, and it is interesting that Chain of Vapor and Stern Dismissal can also bounce creature. So this sometimes is useful against Painter. I can bounce Painter Servant at instant speed when my opponent tries to kill me with an activation of Grindstone. Ashen Rider is good to fight against some artifacts. The Duskana is good, but I need to choose one of them because if my opponent has something like Ensnaring Bridge or something that blocks my way to win, the Duskana is worse than Ashen Rider in this case, especially on the draw. I will change here. I will take, if my opponent plays with Leyline, I don't like Breakthrough so much, but against Painter I also don't like Otherworldly Gaze that much. I can take a Lotus Petal probably, and 1 Dredge Return. I will take Ox, and that's it. Okay, so this is a mulligan, no lands, no cape. This can be really good if my opponent don't have a ley line. If they do, this is pretty bad, but this can be good. This is low because this mountain is not a volcanic island, it's not a steam vent. But I think I keep this, and I'll put Bridge back. Oh, they have ley line, of course they do. And they kept 7 cards. Maybe this is an awful 7. Maybe they have no lands and they kept only because of leyline. Who knows? Oh no, they have a welder and a mountain. No artifacts yet for our opponent. We have our worst draw in our entire deck. I will play this Faithless Looting trying to improve my hand. I didn't. I will discard 1 Narco, probably both Narcos to be honest, unfortunately, and pass. So my opponent plays Urza Saga and Goblin Engineer. So now
they'll have ways to combo me in a couple of turns if I don't find a bounce spell. My opponents choose Painter Servant, no attacks, and I found another land. I'll crack this Scouting Turn, only to thin the deck. I'll choose. I don't have MahfuzVanGogh anymore, so I'll just choose Watergrave here. Yes, I would like to pay 2 life. This will not be important in this matchup. I did not find what I need, and I just pass a turn. I will not cast this Cabal Therapy because it will be the only way to build my graveyard when I find a bounce spell. My opponent draw a card, put another counter on Urza's Saga. They probably need another land so they can create a construct and change the construct for a Painter Servant using Goblin Weather's ability. My opponent plays another Urza's Saga and pass the turn. So yeah, I need to do something right now. I need a bounce spell. I couldn't find a bounce spell, so my opponent can just create a construct, have this Painter Servant. Next turn they have mana to activate Grindstone, so I lost. Let's concede here to save some time and go to our game 3. Now confirm that my opponent play with Leyline of the Void. So the way I did the sideboard is probably right. I probably don't need to change many things here. Let's see. I still like Ashen Rider. Duskana is not good against Leyline because we sometimes need to take some turns until we get rid of Leyline, and Duskana is a dead card in our hand or in our graveyard. I prefer to have the answers, but keep Anger to be fast. But tough. I think I'll just go for it. We have a good amount of enablers here. We have Breakthrough, Careful Study, 2 Gazes, and 4 Faithless Looting, plus Cabal Therapy. Now we are on the play. We don't find a bounce spell. This is not that good because Careful Study, 1, 2, 3 cards. Yeah, this is just a medium hand. Let's try something better. This is not better, but this could be a keep. We could just cast Golgari Withdrawal here, put Golgari Withdrawal into our graveyard with Cabal Therapy, but I don't think this is good enough again. Let's mulligan to 5. Okay, my opponent is also going to 5, so I think they will try to hit Leyline at any cost. I will keep this, and I will put 2 Dredgers back, and I'll keep 2 bounce spells in case my opponent finds 2 Leylines, or if they have Leyline and also a fast clock like a fast combo like their last turn. My opponent is going to 1 card. Okay. And this is not even that good, right? I have bounce spells, but I don't have anything else to do after I bounce my opponent's Leyline. So my opponent couldn't find Leyline, and we don't have nothing to do. I will not crack this because I don't want to shuffle those Dredgers yet. Okay, my opponent has a Lotus Petal. Oh, they found a Soulguide Lantern. Okay. Okay. You got this, opponent. Now what? Let's see. We need some good draws here to force my opponent to crack this Soulguide Lantern and then put ourselves back in the track again. If you're hearing the bells ringing, it's because I live next to a cathedral, and sometimes there is something happening in the church. So now I'll draw something good, Any enabler will be good. Any enabler will force my opponent to crack this. This is not an enabler. I will just play it and pass. Now is my opponent's turn. They draw something. It wasn't a land. And I draw. If I draw a land, I will just cast Stink Within from my hand. I will not hold Stink Within forever in my hand. Oh no, just another Stink Within. So I also pass the turn here. My opponent now must be thinking, well, I probably didn't have to be so pushy with my mulligans. Yeah, and we draw. We have so many good draws here. Nakomiba is not one of them, but at least we can play Nakomiba. And maybe this game will be decided. Maybe this game will be decided by our flying attackers. Even Chain of Vapor would be not would not be a good card here because my opponent can just replace Soul Guide Lantern and we don't have a clock yet. Okay, so my opponent has Goblin Welder. So they can rebuild, or better saying, if they have another artifact, they can have multiple Soul Guide Lanterns turn after turn. We draw something good, please. We could draw even a Cabal Therapy here. Okay, Cephalic Coliseum is not that bad. It can be good in the future. Do I keep Stern Dismissal here? I'm not sure if my opponent can combo me here. Not combo, but they don't need to crack the Soul Guide Lantern for any effect. Of course, they can just draw a card here, paying 1 mana. But I don't see my opponent doing that, not just yet. Maybe if they draw something like a Lotus Petal, draw a card and then put Soul Guide Lantern back on the battlefield, back on play. Well, we can just cast Sync with Imps forever here. We can cast 1 extra imp and 1 extra imp and put the clock. Let's see, 2 damage next turn, 17. 3 damage in the other turn, 14. 4 damage, 10. Yeah, we have now, we can put our opponent into a 6-turn clock here. They need to win the game in less than 6 turns. Can we do it? Chain of Vapor. Okay, this Chain of Vapor is good, but we still don't have any ways to just put cards into our graveyard. So I'll probably just attack here and cast another Sync with Imp. Feels good to have 3 answers to my opponent's permanents. So I can just attack and don't worry too much about what's going next. Even if my opponent finds something like Urza Saga, I can bounce Urza Saga with Stern Dismissal just as a tempo play. So I'll just cast my 3rd creature here and pass the turn. Okay, my opponent finds Grindstone. And they have 2 cards in hand. Land would be good. Reach from below, not that good. Let's push some damage. I still feel pretty safe about what my opponent can play here. They need 5 mana to kill me with a combo kill. So I will just play my last creature from my hand. Because now I have a 4-turn clock with 3 different answers to my opponent's permanents. So I'm feeling safe here. Okay, my opponent finds a Painter's Servant. Chain of Vapor is my worst answer right now because my opponent can just bounce back one of my permanents if they want to. We can just attack here with 3 answers. My opponent maybe try to kill me, and then I bounce one of their just a Painter's Servant actually. Let's see if they would go for the combo kill. This is quite an interesting, different, exquisite, and terrible game at the same time. My opponent will try to combo me on my upkeep. Okay, and using Ancient Tomb, so this is actually good for me. I will cast Stern Dismissal targeting Painter's Servant using my Cephalic Coliseum. Does my opponent have an Hydroblast as their last card? Because now I have a 2-turn clock, and they cannot use Ancient Tomb again if I hit them for 4 damage. That's a stretch up. My opponent will draw a card. Okay. And now we'll just try to put Soul Guide Lantern back. I don't like this. I don't like this at all because my opponent can just try the combo kill again next turn. But since I have the kill in my hand, I don't think I need to do anything different here. I don't think to try to bounce my opponent's Painter again. If I do that, I force them to cast Painter next turn if I don't find something like a Cabal Therapy. And they will not use Ancient Tomb again. And I'm also kind of getting rid of Soul Guide Lantern. Do I bounce in response using 2 of my bounce spells? I think I do. Because I will put my opponent to 2 life. And this Ancient Tomb will not be tapped anymore. And my opponent will not combo me in a single turn. Unless they have something like Lion's Eye Diamond. So yeah, let's try this. So I believe this will fizzle. And my opponent concedes. GG, we won this last game without dredging, just casting cards from our hand and bounce our opponent's creature. Okay, we are 3-1. Let's go to our final match. Oh, I forgot to record from the beginning. I just had a mulligan because I had no lands. And this hand is also a mulligan, unfortunately. Okay, this could be good if we had a mountain, but we
unfortunately don't have a mountain in our hand. My opponent kept 7. My opponent is on the play, so this can be good with many draws here. Any blue enabler or any other land. This is probably something around 11 cards plus more than 20 cards will put this hand in the place it should be. So I'll keep it. I don't like it, but I will keep it. I probably don't need Watery Grave here. In case I draw something like a Cabal Therapy, maybe I keep Watery Grave. I think I need to keep Faithless Looting here. My opponent play with Wasteland deck. Island is so good. But yeah, I already had a mulligan to 5, so I'll keep only non-basic lands. I have 3 of them. Swamp. Alright. Maybe this is... Okay, Steam Vents is our best draw. Maybe this is mono black control of some kind. And in this case, they can play Doughty Voidwalker on turn 2, and it will be a nightmare. I would like to pay 2 life here and cast Faithless Looting. I will never cast this Nakumiba, maybe. Invents turn 2, turn 3, only on turn 4 maybe. So yeah, let's discard Stinkweed Imp and Scouting turn and pass the turn. And please no Doughty Voidwalkers. Just something, just nothing scary. Just an Entomb or no, nothing. Orcish Bowmasters will be okay. Budget in hand. Okay. Okay, you got it, opponent. I'm still not sure about what my opponent's playing. Is this a Pox deck of some kind? Okay, I'll take the opportunity to play the Watery Graved now. Do I cast Nakomiba? I probably cast Nakomiba here, because if my opponent tries to Thoughtseize my hand, they will force me to discard Stinkweed Imp. Forest? Okay, this is Cradle control, probably. This is a bad matchup. One of the worst matchups that we have. But my opponent already used the Bujukabok. And I'm not sure if they have other lands that can copy this land. This is awful. I think I'll still play Stinkweed Imp here just as a creature for future synergies, sacrificing creatures with Dredge Return. Having more creatures can be good if my opponent tries to attack me in the future. But this is hard, this is really hard. My opponent only plays Misty Rainforest and pass the turn. And we draw. Lotus Petal is not good here. I will attack for 2. I will play the Cephalic Coliseum and pass the turn. My opponent activates Reclaimer for a Dryad Arbor. Okay. This is a good play because my opponent can in the future just sacrifice Dryad Arbor at instant speed just to exile my bridges. And my opponent has Underground Mortuary to surveil 1. They put a fetch land in the main. Orcish Bowmasters at sorcery speed. Will kill our Nakomiba, okay. Now I can play my Golgari Thug because purely as a blocker, because if it dies, I can put Nakomiba back on top, and my opponent will probably not attack anymore. They need to get rid of my graveyard again. I'm not sure if they can do it. Maybe they have something like an Endurance. Okay, let's just put Golgari Thug play, and I will play this Lotus Petal to suggest that I don't have anything else, and I don't attack. My opponent can have Endurance, for example. Yeah, they have end of turn Endurance, and this is one of the reasons that this matchup is so difficult for us. It's so hard. Now they can even kill my Golgari Thug and put me really behind, because my opponent has all of those main deckable cards that hit our deck pretty bad. It seems that we are holding back our opponents. Do they have another Endurance? Probably they do. We have no choice here other than just block Endurance. And Stinkweed Imp can kill Endurance. So I don't understand this play. Okay, a Queen Dips will copy Bujukabog, but you have one less creature. But I get it. This was something to try to kill me in a couple of turns later. Okay, now what? If I cast Careful Study and find any other enabler, this can be a win. Of course, my opponent can have another Endurance. This is turn 6. Do I wait one more turn? Probably not. Probably I don't have the luxury to. I will have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. I need another enabler because these Orcish Bowmasters will just kill my Golgari Thug, my blocker. I can't block with Golgari Thug. So yeah, I don't have a choice. I will cast this Careful Study with my Watery Grave. And if my opponent have another endurance, they have another endurance, that's all. I'll discard both cards, keeping a breakthrough. This can kill me really fast if I don't chain dredgers here. My opponent is killing my Golgari, so this is secretly good because now I can chain at least one dredger. My opponent doesn't know that, but this is good. Now I think I'll do breakthrough x equals to 0. I can go x equals to 1, but I don't think there is a point to holding cards in my hand after this turn. So, because this is it. I win or I lose after this breakthrough. And if I try to be smart here and do x for 1, I'll just deal 1 extra damage with Cephalic Elysium to have 1 blue mana here, tapping for 1 blue mana, putting me on 9, maybe more because of Archibald Masters. Yeah, I think x is equals to 0 in this breakthrough. And if my opponent have a second endurance, they have a second endurance. Dredge 4 again, please, another dredger. Yeah, dredge 6 and dredge 4. And we discard our hand, and my opponent play another endurance before I crack my Cephalic Elysium. No, they don't. Do they have another Archibald Masters? Maybe, but I don't have a choice. I need to go forward. I choose me. I crack Lotus Petal here for a mana, and I draw 3, discard 3. I draw dredge and 6 again. We have an Ox, we have another Bridge, we have now a dredge 4, and Poxwalkers, Anger. Anger is good. So I discard 3 cards. Akomiba enters the battlefield. Okay. And I have 1, 2, 3 bridges. As I said, I don't have a choice here. My opponent has a Bone Masters. They will take my bridges anyways, and I have 3 useless blockers. So I will just reanimate Ox of Agonas here. And now 1 Poxwalkers will come back. If I have 1 zombie, it's because my opponent don't have an answer. Because this Elfish Reclaimer is tapped. And they cannot... Yeah, my opponent was kind of greedy last turn because they tried to remove my single dredger from my graveyard, activating Elfish Reclaimer, but now they cannot activate Elfish Reclaimer to sacrifice Dried Arbor at the instant speed. And now I have hasty zombies. And I will win this game. Can you believe it? This is turn 6. For a moment, I found that I will not have this. So I'll draw... I need to dredge here, so to not be pinged by Archibald Masters. So I will dredge 4, 4, and 4 again. Okay, I found Duskana, but I cannot reanimate Duskana. I can cast Cabal Therapy, targeting my opponent, sacrificing Poxwalkers, having 4 more zombies. My opponent will probably concede after that, just to hide information. No? Okay, they think that maybe they can win this. So it doesn't matter for me what they have. I just want to see what they have. So I'll just name Balls of Fire. They have a Traxa, okay. And now I will cast Dredge Return. No? Dredge Return. To reanimate a Grave Troll, sacrificing you, and you. Now we have more than lethal on board. Okay, my opponent will crack Verdant Catacombs. Okay, for a Surveil land. Okay, they like what they saw. What could possibly save my opponent here? I have no idea. But let's just build our zombie army. That's more than enough. Let's just attack with 25 zombies and a hasty Golgari Grave Troll. Okay, we won game 1. It was amazing. I have no words. With non-budget builds of Dredge, Blue Dredge, Turbo Dredge, I have only maybe 25 winning percentage against credit control, 25, sometimes even less than that, 25, 30, 20. And yeah, we won game 1 with a 300 budget list. So now what? Now it will be even harder. I probably need to bring 4 Leyline of Sanctities because of Ojokabog and Endurance. And after that, I'm not sure if I should bring any other cards. The draw, I can probably take the Duskana and 1 Dredge Return. I can take 1 other Worldly Gaze and 1 Careful Study, or 1 Lotus Petal. I will not take Lotus Petal from the deck because if my opponent starts the game with Forest, Elfish Reclaimer, and nothing else, I can try to have a turbo turn 1 with Faithless Looting, Breakthrough, and Lotus Petal. So instead of taking a Lotus Petal, I'll take another Otherworldly Gaze from my deck. And let's try like this.
Can we win against Cradle control? This is Budget Legacy.
Okay, this is our game 2, and this is a mulligan, unfortunately. This is also a mulligan. My opponent kept 7. Oh, this is also a mulligan. Okay, this is our best hand so far, no doubt. I will keep it. I will put Water Grave, Lotus Petal, and Scalding Cephalic Elysium back. And now we have a Leyline of Sanctity. I wish you could have this configuration with 7 or 6 cards. But yeah, this is better, our best hand this game. My opponent plays Once Upon a Time. They cast Once Upon a Time, plays a Forest, and Ignoble Hierarch. So this indicates to me that they can have Endurance. Since I have this Lotus Petal, I'm not sure if my opponent play with Wasteland. Yeah, Cradle control lists, I'm not sure if they play with Wasteland. I didn't see a Wasteland, so I will not fear a Wasteland here. I'll just take a Steam Vents, paying 2 life, and then we could just find a breakthrough. It would be amazing. No, just another petal. It is fine. I will not show my petals to my opponent yet, because they can go for a... They can tutor a Collector Wolf. So I will not show my Lotus Petals yet. Maybe next turn. And then I can even... oh, they have Budget Turbo Dredge, but I have a Leyline of Sanctity, my friend. So you need to exile your own graveyard. Now what? Soulless Jailer. Ooh, this is scary. Permanent cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield. And I can't cast non-creature spells from graveyards or exile. So this is probably what will win this game from my opponent. I have this beautiful Leyline of Sanctity, but this is something that my opponent will keep probably forever. My only chance here is to put a Stinkweed Imp as a blocker, but I will probably lose because of this. Let's see what else my opponent will do. Oh, this is too bad. For a moment, I thought that we had this game. My opponent had Bojuka Bog in hand and Soulless Jailer. Echoing Dips, just being an Echoing Dips, and a Fiend Artisan. There's something better than Gravedigger's Cage here, because I don't have a removal, so it works the same way. Let's see my sideboard. Yeah, I still have Ox. I think I need to draw here, in case if Alcoholism is good. My opponent will probably kill me in a couple of turns here. I think I'll draw immediately because of Orcish Bowmasters. Yeah, and they have Orcish Bowmasters. Okay, I will concede here. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. How many Soulless Jailer my opponent plays? Probably only this one. So, do I change anything after sideboarding again? Do I include some Stern Dismissal, thinking of that card? Or maybe a Chain of Vapor? Do I include the Chain of Vapor? I think I will not include anything else on the play. I'll just submit back. I still have the opportunity to be faster than my opponent, especially if I find a Leyline of Sanctity. If the last game was with me on the play, I probably could win. So yeah, let's find our white Leyline again. We found 2 of them. Nothing good after that, but the Cephalic Elysium, which can be really good if I can find my treasures. This is not good, but I think it's a keep. 2 Leylines is actually good, because if my opponent have something like Boseiju or other enchantment removal, they need to remove 2, not only 1. I will play Steam Vents and cast Careful Study. Please find a Dredger. No Dredger. Okay, I will... Do I discard an Narcomoeba? I probably discard Lotus Petal here. Let me think. No, I probably discard Narcomoeba here. Mana will be important in this game. So I can cast something on turns 2, 3, and 4 if I draw any enabler. My opponent fetches Verdant Catacombs. I have no regrets here of keeping this hand, because this hand is really good against this start from my opponent, for example. So I have no regrets. I think this was the right choice. Okay, I draw another Narcomoeba. So I'll crack Scalding Tarn for a Water Grave, and then I cast a Narcomoeba. Now I have 4. I can have 5 cards with Lotus Petal. I need 2 more cards to activate Cephalic Elysium. My opponents don't know that I have a Cephalic Elysium or a Lotus Petal. Verdant Catacombs and passes. They will probably tutor a land with Reclaimer. Please an enabler. Please an enabler. Cabal Therapy could be an enabler if if I had a Dredger. I think I just attack first and then cast Cabal Therapy targeting my opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I can, yeah, I think this is, I can crack Cephalic Coliseum just to draw 3, discard 3. Just trying to hit a Dredger. And now, yeah, Cabal Therapy targeting my opponent with Watery Grave. Here I will name Orcish Bowmasters. Endurance is also good for my opponent because my opponent can use Endurance just to exile my bridges at instant speed. So I think the right order here is Orcish Bowmasters, Green Sun Zenith, Endurance. Okay, my opponent will use Endurance just to exile my bridge. And because of that, I don't think they have Orcish Bowmasters anymore. Now what? Green Sun Zenith, Natural Warder. I will try Natural Warder because this can be, this Verdant Catacombs can be an extra land, an extra, can be a extra mana for next turn. Yeah, let's name Natural Warder. My opponent kept 7. Let's name Natural Warder. Yeah, and they have, and also they cannot tax Scarab Swarm. Okay, my opponent is spec'd against graveyard strategies, so I would take this Scarab Swarm here. Actually, it wasn't the right move because this targets, right? I was just too scared when I saw another graveyard hate. But since I already hit this, I will take it. One less card for my opponent, one less creature for my opponent. And now what? Now I play Lotus Petal here and Cephalic Coliseum. Nothing else in my hand. My opponent will Surveil. A Surveil land would be really good in a situation like this. But I don't think they are particularly good in a turbo build. This is a situation that they could come in handy, but usually I think you will, almost every time you have something to do with their mana on turns 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, my opponent has a second Average Reclaimer. They will probably play one of those lands right now. Misty, crack it for another Surveil land. Okay, my opponent will not. My opponent is not interested about searching for lands here. So if I find a single enabler, I can win the game next turn. Anything. Faithless Looting, Otherworldly Gaze. Liquid Imp is not the case. Do I cast it? Only as a blocker, probably. Just to stop my opponent attacks because they can kill me in 2 turns. Yeah. This was not the best draw, but it is a draw we had. Okay, Gaia's Cradle. I want to win this match so much, but we need to have top deck here. My opponent also needs a top deck. We draw, bridge. This is probably the worst card that we could draw in this position. So we pass the turn. My opponent activates one of their Reclaimers. Maybe they have another Surveil land. No, just a tapped fetch land to thin the deck. Yeah, my opponent is only thinning the deck. Now they activate again. They sacrifice the Gaia's Cradle for another Cradle. Okay, just to not buy a second legendary land, I guess. And now they will thin the deck again, fetching for a basic forest. And they draw. Nothing scary, at least for now. And we draw. Poxwalkers. Poxwalkers is not good. I will play it. Definitely, yeah. Should I attack with this Liquid Imp? I don't think I need to. I don't think this game will be decided on a single point of life. I think it's better to just keep them on defense. Okay, my opponent finds Force of Vigor. And now they can activate the Official Claimer for a Budget Turbo Dredge. Unfortunately. Offend Artisan. My opponent will not attack, of course, but this game is pretty decided at this point. Let's see what we draw. A Dredger, not good. I will cast it. Because if my opponent attack or try to kill my Golgari Thug, I can just crack Cephalic Coliseum in response. But with an Artisan and 2 Reclaimers and no protection, this game is probably lost. Let's see if I can do something here to pull something here, but I'm not feeling it. Echoing Deeps for another Surveil land. My opponent probably has only one Echoing Deeps in their deck, so this means that my opponent cannot play Budget Turbo Dredge after Budget Turbo Dredge anymore. I should probably have attacked with Poxwalkers last turn. Once upon a time. Soulless Jailer. Yeah, now I can't do anything from my graveyard. I get it, I get it. My opponent will activate one Reclaimer. For another Cradle maybe? Oh no, for the Budget Turbo, finally. Now what? Do I activate Cephalic Coliseum in response just to draw extra cards? I don't think so, because I went with just a single card in my hand. So yeah, this needs mana to activate, so now I will definitely attack with Poxwalkers. Oh, I need only one more mana to cast Ox of Agonas from my hand. Now what? Will my opponent attack? Double? I will block with Stinkweed Imp any creature that my opponent can have here. Oh, of course, they will activate Artisan for Stellar win? No? Just an Archish Bowmasters to hit Poxwalkers. Okay. Will my opponent attack? No. Now I can't play Ox of Agonas anymore. And I can't attack. I can only pass the turn. My opponent will activate Artisan again to win the game. Oh no, they have a Critter Hoof in their hand. So GG's, we lost. Almost there. Our deck punished us for several turns after a good start with double Leyline of Sanctity, but we couldn't find a neighbor on time. This was a 3-2, this was a positive record, this could be even better. So am I satisfied with this budget build of Turbo Dredge? Let's analyze the deck. First things first. Did I miss any of my other cards like Lands and Diamond and Dual Lands? I did not miss any dual land. As you saw, we lost. The games we lost was not because of our life was low and 2 or 4 damage would have made a difference. So yeah, you can probably play Turbo Dredge without dual lands, and it will have the same effect, at least for almost every match. Lions and Diamond is another story, because Lions and Diamond is an enabler in itself. So you saw last match, for example, when I had a Lotus Petal, if that petal was a Lions and Diamond instead, I could have discarded my hand and then activate a Coliseum and find something else to win the game. So I believe last match I lost because I had Lotus Petal instead of Lions and Diamond. That said, all the other matches were incredible close matches, or we had easy wins sometimes, even without ADDs, even without dual lands. I think this is a win for this deck. Remember, this deck only costs $333. So yeah, I think this as a budget deck may be one of the best options in Legacy. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this budget deck, and if you want to see other budget decks, other budget builds played here in the channel in the future. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Click the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and I see you next video. Bye.